Liverpool have just beaten Benfica 3-1 in their own ground. Third goal scored by Luis Diaz, joining me for some instant match reaction of the Reds' win in the Champions League quarter-final is none other than Paul Dalglish. Paul, what's your first thoughts? What's your initial thoughts after that game?
First half, it was cruise control, wasn't it? Really, it was complete control. First half, I thought there was some really, really good performances from Liverpool. The only threat they really had was Núñez up front. But I think in the second half, we weren't great for a spell, and I think that was in part them, but also us, because I think they went with more of a flat three in midfield. And frustrated us really. They did a bit of a Mourinho with the wingers tracking back when our fullbacks went forward, and we made some basic errors. And I know people talk about Konate missing that, but Trent let one go under his foot before that in the first half, and Salah did the same. There was just a bit sloppy, maybe 2-0 up, little bit of complacency, but then. Obviously, just the quality we've got, Gav, to in the team is unbelievable in the attacking areas. And then when you think the three people we bring on the hour mark, it's like we've never had this before. That strength and depth. It's great. And to be honest with you, with us challenging in all competitions, we can now do what Man City do, and we can rotate.
Yeah, that first half, I have to say, was absolutely breathtaking. I thought the sort of football we played, I know they were quite passive, but some of the football, and you were thinking how many at one point, weren't you, in that first half? It didn't look, a couple of things in transition, but it didn't look really like that convincing. The two goals, one from Sadio and the first one from Konate was a great header, wasn't it?
Unbelievable header.
You always fancy that with his size that he should be getting more chances, or at least making the goalkeeper work, on set pieces.
Yeah. No, he said, listen, we've probably got two of the most dominant centre backs, or maybe three with Matip as well in the Premier League. In terms of size and their ability to win headers. And it was a perfect header. It was, headed it down into the ground, past the keeper. Brilliant header, great ball in from Andy Robbo. But I must say though, mate, that Núñez impressed me against Van Dijk and Konate. There was one in the second half where he chased it into the corner, and he bodied Konate a little bit, and you never really see that. And I was like, he's half decent. He's only 22. Another Uruguay. Might be another little Luis Suarez.
Yeah, totally.
Liverpool,
yeah, the second half we come out, and like you say, I mean, it could be a bit of complacency there. They were so dominant in that first half. Second half was a different story, wasn't it? For a good 25 minutes.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit of complacency, and then the fans got behind them, right? The fans got behind them. They started, you heard all the fans get behind him when he caught us in transition, and then all the whistling when we had the ball. And I just think that, after that little bit of a wobble, we got the game back under control with a little bit of composure. We didn't, we controlled the game, frustrated them, took the crowd out of it as well. And that's another 2-goal lead going back to Anfield. Very, very difficult, Gav. Very, very difficult for Benfica. But there's a massive gulf in quality, isn't there, between them and us?
We've just had a couple of comments, and John Moore's just he's obviously watching. Hello, John. Thanks for commenting. He's just said that City got a 1-0 win, which isn't a great result for them. They would have wanted to take more, I would have thought, to Madrid.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can get greedy, can't you? You can get greedy, and I think that we've got another big game on, at the weekend, and I think that you saw some substitutions. I think with that in mind, I think even the starting 11. You didn't see Jota, you didn't see Firmino, you didn't see Henderson, but they come on, and that's normally a sign when they get half an hour in the game that they'll probably be starting against Man City. So I think that we've got to be careful that we don't punch ourselves out in games that are, that we don't need to, because we've got so many games this month, Gav. I mean, if you look at the games we've got in April, it's unbelievable the amount of games we've got, and loads of important games. So I think winning is enough, Gav. We don't need to embarrass anybody. I think that winning is enough, and just got to keep trying to be as efficient as possible, grind out wins as efficiently as possible this whole month, and then, mate, it could be, we're still in everything, man. It's like, no, but it's, like, we won't win everything, but we're still in everything.
Yeah. The change that we certainly saw the last 15 minutes out of the game very professionally. I thought we took the sting out of the crowd as well. They went quiet. The noise in that stadium is unbelievable. Was there anything you noticed that meant that Liverpool just took charge of that game again?
I think when, if you bring on subs, the quality that we brought on, then they're fresh, they come on, they're in control of their emotions a little bit better, if you like, because they're coming off the bench. And I just think that it was just very, very easy, Gav. It was very, very easy for them. They picked up the pace of the game, and then the third goal just kills it, doesn't it? Just kills it. We could have had a fourth in the end.
Yeah, well, I mean, Jota at the end there. I mean, I can't believe he's not slotted that on one-on-one. Just talk to me a little bit about Luis Diaz's performance. I seem to do that every time he plays, but he obviously gets a goal.
Listen, you got really excited after the first. I think it was the first or one of the first games that we did, and I was like, well, the most important thing with him is goals and assists. All attacking players will be judged on his goals and assists, and the fact that now he's not only taking your eye when he's dribbling and playing 1v1, he's scoring. I mean, the goal against, was it Watford, the header where he got wiped out? Was it Watford? Who was it? Watford?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that for me tells me more about the player than
no, it wasn't Watford, it was Brighton.
Brighton. Yeah. That tells me more about the player than any of the, in terms of his mentality and that he's a Liverpool player and he fits in, than any kind of skill that he's shown or finishing ability he's shown. That shows you that he's willing to put his face on the line for Liverpool, and that's exactly what we need. That level of pride in playing for the shirt is exactly what we need.
You see that whenever he loses the ball as well. His willingness to win it back is unbelievable.
He's a little bit, Yeah. And he's a little bit different, Gav, to Mane, and a little bit different to Salah. I mean, because he likes being wide as well. Salah maybe start wide sometimes, but then he likes to drift in off the line. And I think Diaz is working it out now about when to be wide and when to drift inside to leave the space for Andy Robbo. And what you saw is the combination between Thiago, Robertson and Diaz is getting better and better and better. And it's actually Thiago that's dropping into a left-back position now in games a lot more often. And he's starting the attacks, dropping into that left-back position. And then it's leaving Robbo and Diaz to be more effective at further up the pitch. And they're just going to get better and better and better the more they play together.
Before I ask you about standout performers, we've got some more comments. Norman, who always comes on when we go live. Norman, nice to see you, mate. This side's playing like a team that has a look, like it has the know-how. And I think that's that game intelligence, game management, isn't it, that we're seeing week in, week out at the moment. Not playing the best sometimes, but just do enough.
Who?
Liverpool.
Yeah. It's honestly, like I lived through the 80s and the late 70s and the 80s, and like this team's unbelievable. We're so lucky to have this team, because we used to. I remember times where we play well and we should have got more, or we didn't get what we deserve. You look at some of the things that this team's done. Konate has never lost a game for Liverpool. Van Dijk's never lost a game in the Premier League at Anfield. These are unheard of. These are unheard of, Gav. Unheard of kind of events that are happening. And it's like, it's such a privilege to be a Red. And do you know what? It actually makes it better that Man City are so good as well.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it gives you, we are, in any other generation, we're winning everything. Absolutely everything. And the fact that Man City are so strong actually, you know, it actually makes it a little bit more enjoyable for me, because it you know that you can't take anything for granted when they're that as well.
Actually, just on that point, we did an Analysis podcast the other day, and we compared the great Liverpool sides going back in the past. And you look at the points per game average that some of them won the league with, it's nothing compared to what we're doing at the moment. Like the closest one was 87, 88. And if you haven't listened to that podcast, guys, have a little listen, because it was great fun. Norman, I've got to tell you this. Norman's just said, I once seen Mr. Dalglish score a great goal for Wigan versus Stoke.
Yeah, there you go, mate. There you go. Even a blind man finds a penny every once in a while, Gav.
Do they really? When does a blind man ever find a penny?
What?
When does a blind man ever find a penny?
Mate, even a squirrel finds a nut. Every blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while, Gav. You know what I mean? But more importantly, though, like anybody that used to watch WWF wrestling growing up, you do have a little bit of a look with that T-shirt on of Bam Bam Bigelow. And you don't know who Bam Bam Bigelow is?
No, I can't.
Listen, I want you to Google Bam Bam Bigelow.
I'll make it a priority tomorrow, Paul.
Yeah.
Barra Ofar, I hope I get this. Barra, you need to message us, mate, because you're always on and I always struggle with your name. I'm going to call you Barra. It's got to be that. Liverpool have personalities, defined characters, and Benfica have players. I'm not sure what you mean by that. But I'm guessing you mean that we've got the personality to manage games. But Benfica did have some decent players, didn't they, Paul?
I really like the forward, Gav. I really like the forward.
You love him, don't you?
Yeah. I think he's quick, he's big, you know, he agile. He's a good player, Gav. I don't think he'll be there that much longer. He'll move to a bigger club. I think he's the next one to come out of Portugal. I think that is, you know, you had Fernandes that came out, then Diaz. I think he'll be the next one to be a top player.
Standout performers.
Diaz was excellent. I mean, even the knockdown for Mane. You know, yeah. I mean, great ball from Trent. But mate, do you know what? I think it's, and I know we might not be the most effective. And you know, I normally go very, very political, and everyone played well. But I do. I'm getting a favourite, Gav. I just love watching Thiago. I just think he's brilliant. I honestly just think he's so pleasing on the eye. You know, even the way the ball just comes off his foot differently. You know, and the way he can control games, the way he can change the tempo of the game, when to slow it up, down, when to speed it up. You know, the disguise he puts on his passing. I just enjoy watching him, Gav. He's not always the best player, but he's just always pleasing on the eye for me. And to be fair to him, he has a go as well, doesn't he? Like he gets.
Oh, aye. Yeah, he's got a little side to him, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. John Moore has just messaged us to say that he thought Naby was man of the match. He had a decent game.
He was good, yeah. No, he was good. He was good. And by the way, Kanati was good apart from a mistake as well.
He was, yeah.
You know, it's good that he can make that mistake, and then the mistakes are always worse when it costs you the game.
Yeah.
So it's like when Alisson's made mistakes. You know, Alisson takes risks. He's made mistakes, and very rarely has it cost us the game. And it's that then you can move on. It's when you make a mistake and it costs you the game that it can haunt you. So, just glad that the mistake never cost us.
John Moore's asked Paul if you could sign one player this summer. Who would it be? Where do we need someone for a start? Midfield, maybe. You would assume that.
Do you know who I like? Who I think's a Liverpool player, but we don't need him. Son at Tottenham.
Yeah, he's
I
brilliant.
think with his work rate, his direct running, I think he looks like a Liverpool player. If you're going through, and I tell you, you look at it as well. You go, Harry Kane would be brilliant in that Firmino role as well. Because he can drop off into the 10 position, but you don't need him either, and we're not going to spend that money on a. I don't know, Gav. I don't know. I mean, you look at.
He doesn't do the ugly stuff. He's assists and goals, and that's it for me, Harry Kane.
You look at Mbappe, you look at Haaland. You're unrealistic, I think. That's not the type of player we normally go after.
Yeah.
So I don't know, mate. I don't know. I just don't. Who do you think improves us?
I know that's the difficult thing, but in the summer you assume that a couple might leave, say like an Oxlade-Chamberlain or Milner. Oxlade-Chamberlain's contract's up, I think, the season after, so there's a decision to be made. Milner's contract's up at the end of the season, so
that's it, Gav. I think it's going to have to be. It's only an absolute superstar that could really improve the team, if you like. I think what you'll probably see is more depth being added. Barcelona have a couple of young midfield players, don't they, that are going to be top level. But normally what we do, mate, is we sign the level below and then allow them to become that level. And that's what we tend to do. We've had a great record of doing that. So I think if anybody leaves, we'll probably replace them.
Lovely stuff,
mate. It's hard, mate. It's like before we need a centre back. You look now at centre backs and you go, unbelievable. You think, do we need cover at goalkeeper? Keller's come in and done unbelievable. Leaving at the left back, we probably need to bring in
a right back.
And then people are going, we need a right back. And then Joe Gomez replaces Trent, does great.
It's brilliant.
Makes the goal. So it's hard, mate. It's hard to know because you don't want to collect players. Jurgen doesn't like a big squad, so it's hard. It's hard to know where you actually want to improve.
Brilliant stuff, mate. Well, listen, it's all eyes are now on Sunday and the biggest game of the season against Man City in the league. What's your feelings on that?
It's one of them games, isn't it? Flip a coin, Gav. It really is. They're probably, along with Bayern Munich, the three best teams in the world. Liverpool and Man City, the two best teams in the world, along with Bayern Munich, makes it, it's pick your two out of those three. So in those games, Gav, you just hope for a little bit of luck. You hope that we turn up. You hope that you get the refereeing decisions, but it's not a game you bet on. Like tonight, you go into the game, even away from home, you fancy Liverpool strongly. I don't think when Liverpool and Man City play each other that you can pick a winner. I think it's just one of them that you go into it and you just hope for the best and hope that we turn up and do ourselves justice.
Lovely stuff, mate. Well, we will see you through the week. We've got some exciting stuff happening this week. And don't forget to keep an eye out for this little bad boy because this is coming out very, very soon. Up the Reds. Come on.